Boost Mobile Gold Coast 500. Armour All qualifying about to get underway, and that'll lead us to the Armour All Top 10 shootout. Beat the Ultimate Pit Lane now officially open, and they've got to get back on that horse. They have to get back out there into those hot, hard-to-handle race cars in one of the trickiest theatres that we visit.
This qualifying is so important at a place like this, such a tough layout, as you've just given us the rundown of the 15 corners and just a bit under 3K. It's an absolute little bull ring.
Thomas Randall on screen here, Castrol Edge car this week in new livery on it. Now, Will Davison's just jumped straight to the top on a 10.7. His performance yesterday was absolutely fantastic. They had a slow stop in their first of 2 stops at the Shell V-Power Racing team. Has been a winner here previously out of that final complex. One of the points that I made yesterday was the nature of this racetrack is so different to many of the others that we go to. The average turning time here is only 2.5 seconds. It's a real classic street circuit where you're jinking left and right as Pi actually pokes it to the top on a 10.6. This is the L-Spec car.
4 green tyres on this run. So just keep a keen eye on those 2 Shell Mustangs to see how they achieve their lap time on this current run now.
We've got a problem here for Tim Slade. The Cool Drive entry has just spat a spring out of the left front corner of that car.
We've seen some weird stuff over the years. I have never seen a coil spring fire off the shock perch and dislodge itself out of the car like that. I've seen them in crashes, but not when they're still driving along.
No, so he's obviously clobbered something. In fact, he's clobbered the inside wall there at turn 11. That must have busted the shock, top and bottom mount, and it's actually just busted the thing out to the point where the spring has leapt onto the racetrack. I haven't seen that too often. But this lap currently is potentially showing an even better lap than Van Gisbergen achieved if he gets out of this third and final sector quickly enough. He's sitting in 5th at the moment, 10.6 the number. Does he 10.2. He's blown the doors off the stopwatch there. Wow.
Fastest lap of the weekend on his second lap.
James Golding, that was... that's going to be... if he was on a hot lap, he being James Golding, that might actually cause a problem for Will Davison now in this session.
And I'm to your point, I don't know why he's out there. He's done a 10.2.
I would park it up and polish it.
What happens for the top 10? This is the interesting part because Feeney did a lap in behind Shane Van Gisbergen. Van Gisbergen towed him around and Feeney did a 10.66. Scott Pye comes up to 5th now, so he was right on the cusp of the 10.5. The number you've got to do to be in the 10 is better than a 10.66. Winterbottom is out. He's gone through and he's got a curb strike. Holdsworth comes up to 12th. Still haven't seen Heimgartner because I saw that he made a mistake in Sector 2.
David Reynolds just
great job, 10.2.
So much for any self-doubt. David Couchy said this morning, that's the thing about David, if you can get his confidence right and you provide him with the gear, he'll get the job done. That was an extraordinary job yesterday and he's just done it one more time. Replay here of Mostert.
That was a bump on the fence, I think. That'll be a gravel rash sign just near that Velo signature on the right-hand rear there because he come out of the turn 11 exit with a big slide on and I'm sure the wall straightened him up. So, I don't know whether that's what he really meant to do, but that's where he landed.
So provisional pole goes to Shane Van Gisbergen, 1/100th of a second, the crazy tiny margin. In fact, the margins across the lead cars, as we talked about before, are really crazy. Now,
might get in.
Is this going to be good enough for James Golding to vault?
He does. He gets Feeney out. It puts him in with a 10.62.
Excellent performance.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Well done. I'm just looking, is there anybody else who's going to catch us now, Neil? This is a good lap. Hazelwood's going to be close. He's just got a little bit of time, I think. He comes up 5 spots, but to 15th. So that lap of Golding's popped Feeney out of the top 10. And the number to stay in the top 10 is a 10.62. That's about 0.2 of a second better than we forecast. It was 11 dead yesterday, so the whole track is effectively 0.4 of a second faster.
He continues to impress, doesn't he, James Golding? That's a fine performance at 10.6, and that's his name at the bottom. So he'll be our first runner in the Armour All Top 10 shootout, and another superlative performance by Van Gisbergen. Home by a tiny little whisker over Will Davis and David Reynolds, but there's really nothing between those three. Waters, Mostert, Pye. Randall, Di Pasquale, Brody Kostecki gets in as well. Brock Feeney could be disappointed with that. He's only just missed out, and so too Mark Winterbottom and Lee Holdsworth. Will Brown, decent recovery after yesterday's trauma, followed by Hazelwood. Courtney's further down the order after being in the top 10 shootout yesterday from LeBrock, Pither, Percat, new engineer for him this weekend with Adam Austin, and then Heimgartner, Jones, Fullwood, Kostecki, Smith and Slade.